Cardi B and Nicki Minaj situation is the result of not being able to slap a hoe. A lot of people will say that violence isn't the answer, and I agree, but we watch countries go to war. We pay to see grown men fight in a ring. A lot of people won't even entertain the idea of gentle parenting. Why? Because you believe that you have to hit somebody in order to get your point across. Some weird bitches you just can't ignore. The only thing that gets your point across is belt to ass. Why can't you ignore them? Because they won't stop. Nicki and Cardi been beefing for 7 years. 7 years. Y'all talk shit about Cardi at the Met Gala. You guys said that she was ghetto, that she was a hood rat, that the Met Gala was a classy place and she should have acted classy. But I don't think you understand what on-site means. Let me break it down. On-site means when I set my sights on you, it's up and it's stuck. A weird hoe is always going to have a problem with sharing the spotlight, and it's unfortunate because though they're weird, they're usually beautiful and talented and successful in their own right, but their own insecurities eats at them, and they cannot stand it when somebody that they deem lesser than them is getting more love. A weird hoe is going to have everything: beauty, money, love, but you know what they lack? Personality. Hoes be having everything but personality. It's always the women that say that other women are beneath them and they're above the drama that talk the most and provoke you the most in private. And to that, I will always say, go ahead and put it on the floor publicly. They always say like, well, I'm just talking. I'm just stating my opinion. Why don't you use your words? But bitches don't understand that words hurt. Words hurt. And you know what hurts worse? Elbow to teeth. Elbow to teeth. People can't stand that Cardi B has personality, and even if you don't like her music, you like her because she has likability. These hoes will be everything but likable. Have you tried being likable? People will say that none of this is right because they're too old to fight, and I agree, we are too old to fight. But did you know old bully? And I'm not a bully, but I'm not going to be bullied. Words hurt, but so do hands. Let's respect each other, or let's see who's stronger physically. Here's some free game. Want to know if the women around you are going to be weird in the future? Check their relationships with their sisters if they have any. I'm not talking about sibling rivalry. I'm saying they hate all women, even their family. Cardi put Hennessy on. I ain't seen Nicki with Ming Lee yet. This page does not promote violence, but sometimes to stop a bitch, you got to pop a bitch. Both Nicki and Cardi agreed to throw hands. Again, I say that means on site. That means Met Gala, inauguration, high school graduation. We shouldn't see anything but two rappers rapping this the up. There shouldn't be no security, just big butts, blood, and fighting. My bucks are on Bardi. Who you got?
Honestly, I feel like Nicki Minaj is too rich for this. Like, she's too rich for this, at least in my perception. She can change her image. She can improve herself, and that is by getting help, and that by talking, and that is taking accountability, and that is going to the booth, and that is reconnecting with people. Obviously, you won't do it immediately. It won't happen overnight. But you reconstruct yourself, reconstruct your image. And some people think banned bridges you can't rebuild. You can. You can rebuild stuff. You can change your image. You can that. You're not a bridge. You're a human being. Even if you have to do it alone, that would mean you have to go in the booth by yourself and work with the current people that you have and make it work. And then take accountability on any platform that you go. And then, you know what? I'm actually very sorry. I'm actually very sorry for, and you do it publicly. You don't have to reach it to them and don't tag them. You don't do anything. You actually be like, I have some things to work on, and that's not in anybody. But the thing is, it's pride and it's ego. And because it's those things, Nicki Minaj herself cannot get past the fact that she is not going to be relevant any longer. I don't care what the Barbz says. She's not going to be relevant. We are moving with time. We're moving with something that you've been telling Megan, that we are moving with time. We are definitely moving with that, and people need to move on. And Nicki Minaj give bad vibes, and nobody want a bad vibes, especially for 7 Dick. Yes. Yeah.
What's so funny about Nicki Minaj is her fans really think she's unproblematic. But someone made a list of every person that she's had beef with, and I'm gonna read it. At the top, we got Cardi B, Meg Thee Stallion, Doja Cat, Lotto, Iggy Azalea, Lil' Kim, Remy Ma, Queen Latifah, Missy Elliott, Asian Doll, The City Girls, Beyonce, SZA, Tochi, it's a really long list, Coi Leroy, Azealia Banks, Jay-Z, Safari, Instagram, TikTok, Mariah Carey, Gucci Mane, Taylor Swift, Kanye West, not surprised, Kylie Jenner, Stormi. You're talking about their kid Stormi? Travis Scott, random Twitter stance, Farrah Abraham, makes sense, Lakea, Erica Banks, Young Baby Tate, Jason Lee, Wendy Williams. I feel like a lot of celebrities had beef with Wendy Williams. Ice Spice, Normani, Lady Gaga, Leanne, Summer Walker, Mariah Lynn, RZA, like Rihanna's kid? Am I tripping? Multiple fashion designers, Elon Musk, Rock Nation, Desiree Perez, Kanye West again. He's right at the JK, Jungkook, Migos, Young Miami, JT, Drake, Beyonce again, Culture, Blossom Wave. I don't know how she has beef with kids. TMZ, The Breakfast Club, Billboard, Mona Scott, Gayle King. And someone says, and y'all still claim that she's not the problem. That was a long list. Nicki, is you good, hon? Now the real question is, the only beef she has with, or doesn't have with, is her husband, who's also a child predator, and her brother.
Okay, so the Barbs keep bringing up this tweet, and it's definitely not the flex that y'all think it is. I've been outside from the beginning of both of these artists' careers. I'm not even talking about the mainstream beginning, the beginning. I was living in Queens during the Nicki Minaj DVD era. This was prior to Young Money. I'm talking about right around the time that she got with Deb. So just know that I know the history of all of this, and I've been paying attention to it over the years. I am a fan of the culture first, before any individual. All this tweet is doing is confirming what people have been saying for a very long time. This entire problem did not stem from Cardi B's side of the situation. It came from the ego of Nicki Minaj, who could not handle a few things. One of them being that Cardi B did not want to dedicate a section of every interview she did glazing Nicki Minaj. That's it. Why do you think that became such a problem? It's for the other thing that her ego couldn't handle. See, if anybody remembers like I remember, there was a point in time where Nicki Minaj ran through the game uncontested. And this does not mean that she didn't make great music during this time. This doesn't mean that she should not be considered one of the greatest female rappers of all time. This does not mean that she should not be considered an absolute icon in her own right. All those things are true, and they'll always remain true. But it is also true that during a certain point in time, realistically, there was no other mainstream option that we would even consider anywhere in the same category. When award season came around, you automatically knew that she was going to win. Because who else did they even put in the category? No disrespect to Trina, but I remember one year where the only viable option that could have beat her out for an award was Trina. Fast forward to later, and there was an explosion of female artists on the scene. And now, us, the music fans, had other options to listen to. That doesn't mean people stopped listening to Nicki Minaj, and it doesn't mean that the industry or they tried to replace her. All it meant was that now we have different options of other people that we could listen to on a mainstream level. I've always been a fan and a champion of female rappers, so for me, there's always been other options. Most of them are independent and unsigned. I work with a lot of them myself, but I always discover new talent and listen to them. I can give you some names if you'd like in the comments, let me know. But let me get back to what I'm saying. Once the mainstream audience had other options, the ego couldn't handle it. Why? Because we're talking about an artist who came into the game, into a situation where there was no contest. There was no one else. This is not about competition. This is about people having options, and someone didn't want you to have them. I know, there's people that are gonna have stronger opinions about this than me, and I'm sure you'll meet me in the comments to talk about it. So let's just get there.